helping people with clothing them and feeding them and so on and so forth. She was an alcoholic. Her name is Karen. She was an alcoholic. She had dealt with a lot of difficulties in life. And one of the positive stories there is that she has been off alcohol now for years. And she has a home of her own and she's doing amazing. And we still keep in touch. So that is a very positive story. And she always says to me that one thing that she remembers is my healing touch, like just loving her, just treating her like a human being and just being there for her. And it goes so far. It goes so far. People just underestimate, how far that can actually go. So that would be a great success story that I.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you wish you knew before you got started?
I wish I knew that there were so many selfish people in this world. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Like, people are just very self-absorbed, and it's unfortunate. And I hope that COVID has humbled people and made them realize, like, we're not invincible here in America, right? Like, our entire country shut down.
It was a great equalizer for a lot.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. I hope that people see how unhealthy we are as a country. Like, that's one of the reasons why so many people died is because their immune systems were already compromised. They already had medical issues.
The biggest comorbidity factor is weight.
Yep. Exactly. And we have an obesity problem here in the country.
Humongous problem.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that COVID has opened people's eyes and have made them realize that what we're doing is just not working, right? Our medical system, God bless our doctors, but they're taught what they're taught. And a lot of them are not going to agree with leaky gut. A lot of them are not going to agree with detoxing your liver. Mm-hmm. Because they don't understand it. And if they don't understand it, they're not going to speak to it. So, be your own advocate, educate yourself, do your research. If anybody is open to seeing a holistic practitioner, please feel free to reach out. More than welcome to reach out to me. Again, my name is Rosanna Curci, and I'm happy to refer you. They truly are amazing. I call them my lifesavers. I'm writing a book about my story. Mm-hmm. So, once my book comes out, it's called Letter of Hope. I would hope that people will read it and learn from it and realize that I'm just a normal person, just like anybody else. I am, like I said, I didn't grow up privileged. I had traumas and stress in life, and it led me to where I was. And now here I am giving back to those who are less fortunate and hoping to just bring others onto the journey.
I interviewed a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine before, and she talks about her schooling. And how when she decided she wanted to be a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine, it was a lot of holistic herbs, a lot of supplements, a lot of kind of getting your body right. Mm-hmm. But she also had to learn about Western medicine.
Absolutely.
The same cannot be said about Western doctors and Western medicine. Mm-hmm. They don't learn about any of that stuff. Yep. And like you said, they're taught what they're taught. Mm-hmm. And we don't know what we don't know. Mm-hmm. So it's
unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Extremely unfortunate.
And you know what? There's pros and cons to both, obviously, right? We obviously need our Western medicine. I mean, when you're close to death and you have to.
No, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Absolutely. I would never speak ill of Western medicine, but Eastern medicine is where it enables you to prevent disease. Mm-hmm. It enables you to have your body strong enough to sustain whatever comes your way. And that's the key.
And there's a lot to be said about the grips and the hold of the pharmaceutical companies and media, and not to be a conspiracy theorist or nothing, but that's legitimate what we're seeing today. Yes. Everything is brought to you by Pfizer. Yeah. And it's like,
it's unfortunate, but we are run by the holy dollar, right? With the mighty dollar, and unfortunately our insurance companies have still not recognized holistic medicine, which I will say this. My holistic practitioner, thank goodness, is extremely reasonable price-wise. They're not covered by insurance. They're extremely reasonable, though, compared to other holistic practitioners out there. If they weren't, I would not be here today. I would be dead because I would not have been able to afford them.
And that's just another factor on how some people become homeless.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Just lack of resources.
Exactly. And great family and friends. And I have to give a shout out to my mom and dad. They were amazing. They truly helped me in every way.
Lyme disease wrecks you. It wrecks.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It wreaked havoc on my body. And my body was literally just shutting down. Yep.
Well, I'm glad to see you here at 90. You said 90%?
90%.
90%.
Yes.
What mentors did you have, if any, on your journey to where you are today?
Oh, that's a great question. So as far as mentors along the way, I would say one is my father. My father has always just been a kind soul in my life. And, I'm a fiery Italian, right? So the minute that somebody did me wrong, I would get angry and I would, not look at their perspective and I would, just whatever, lash out. And my father was always that man that kept that level head and tried to get me to see the other perspective. And he was compassionate and kind and sensitive. And I truly am thankful for him because he balanced me. And I would like to think that I'm more like him now, now that I've matured. So I would say definitely my father. And then my holistic practitioners, they're a team. They're man and woman, and their unselfish love and teachings and hand slapping sometimes.
Yeah.
They have definitely mentored me and have taught me so much. And I hated science. I mean, when I tell you I hated science, I cheated as much as I could when I was in school. But I have learned so much about the human body now thanks to them and going through it myself that they definitely have been mentors.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, you spoke a little earlier about working and getting your book out.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your long-term goals?
Great question. So my long-term goal is to become a public speaker and become a life and health coach, right? Motivating people to consider the holistic side of things. Eventually, I would like to get pictures out there that show what I was and where I am today. And again, I'm not 100% yet, so I'm not doing those pictures just yet. But I want to show the before and afters. I want to show people what I went through so that they can look at me and feel that there's hope out there. So eventually, public speaker, life and health coach is my long-term goal. And hopefully a well-known author, hopefully.
There you go, yeah.
Hopefully people gravitate towards my book and they find it to be encouraging and knowing that there is hope out there, because that's the thing. I can remember when I was going through it, and I want to cry right now just thinking about it, because I was hopeless. Right? Like no doctor could help me. I mean, when I tell you I went to every doctor, like I didn't even know these doctors existed, like endocrinologist and rheumatologist. I'm like, what
Words you never heard before.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what do these people do? And they did all of their tests and everybody kept saying, you're fine. And I'm like, but I'm not, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
you know your body better than anybody else.
Exactly.
And when something's not okay and you hear the doctor saying it, and this is not only your story, but the story of so many people in this country or around the world, telling you you're okay.
Yeah.
It's like, no. And
I'm
then you
not
find out you have Lyme disease.
Yes. Exactly. I had Lyme disease, but I had it for 14 years. So now my thyroid is a mess. My hormones are a mess. My liver is a mess. Everything is shutting down. My brain was not functioning. I literally could not think of words. And people that are up there in age, I'm not going to say my age, but as well as I do, that, sometimes you try to think of that word and you're like, I can't think of it. Well, guess what? There's a reason for that. And it's called gut health. And if you read up on it, there is an absolute connection to your gut and your brain and your gut to your entire system. And if your gut is not in a good place, your body is not going to be functioning at optimum health. So learn, do your research. Don't trust me. Do your research, do your reading, learn about gut health, learn about the holistic approach, learn about leaky gut, and help yourself. And again, please reach out to me if you really want to go on a journey of being healthy and happy again. Please reach out to me. I'll be happy to refer you to my holistic practitioner.
Yep. And you're proof.
I'm proof in the pudding.
Proof in the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
What for somebody listening to this podcast right now, a kid, a teenager, even an adult who thinks that they need to do something more with their lives and they want to take a similar path because you just inspired them, what are some of your recommendations, advice you would give to a kid looking to follow your path?
Wow. Okay. So for first things first, I would say stay away from antibiotics. Sometimes, you're going to have to take them here and there, but take them very sparingly. Stay away from antibiotics. Do what it takes to maintain your health now at a younger age, right? So try to avoid birth control. That
wrecks.
Oh, it really does.
A lot of people.
It really does. Anything hormonal. Mm-hmm.
And it's so rampant.
It's
but
so
continue,
rampant.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So stay away from birth control. Definitely start detoxing your liver at a young age. Learn the holistic approach and how you can prevent disease. Learn about pH levels and make sure that your pH levels are always in the right zone, right? Because what happens is when it falls into an acidic zone, that's where you actually start to grow fungus. And that's where, unfortunately, that's how cancer is breeded. So try to ensure that your pH level, you can go to the pharmacy, you can get strips and you pee on the strip and you'll learn what your pH levels are and just make sure they're in the right zone, which I believe is like 6.5 to 7.5, depending on your body. Try to avoid your carbs and your sugars as much as possible. Read your labels and know what it is that you're ingesting, because I'll tell you now, there's so many toxins in the food that we ingest that people pass off as being good. Even the ones that you think are good for you, when they say no sugar, guess what? There's still sugar in there. So try to eat as clean as possible. And then as far as going down the path that I went, you're always going to bounce back. You're going to have heartache in life. You're going to have people do wrong by you. You're going to have disappointments in life. But just remember that you're always going to bounce back, that you are capable of doing anything that you want. You are capable of love again, even if you had your heart broken. You're capable of finding another job, even if you lost that one job. So always remember that you're always going to bounce back. And whenever you meet another person, just remember that to be kind, because you never know what somebody is going through in life. You never know what they've gone through. So just be kind to others and it will come back to you.
There you go. I love that. That's one of my biggest things I always say, and not only you, but many people, their advice is always be kind. Mm-hmm. And that leads us to our last two questions.
Okay.
And the first one being best advice for making the world a better place.
So best advice for making the world a better place. I would say it kind of goes back to the being kind. I mean, right now is a perfect example of how our world is so divided. We're divided from a race perspective. We're divided from a COVID perspective. We're divided from a political perspective. Everything. We have difference of opinions. And if we can just respect each other and realize that it's okay to have a difference of opinion and it's okay to want different things in life and still be kind to those that have different opinions, I think the world would be a much better place today.
Couldn't agree with you more. Yeah. And the last question, hypothetical scenario right now, this podcast, whatever you're speaking right now through the microphone is going through every speaker